Sebastian is by far the youngest participant we've ever had in this cohort. So enjoy, man. Huh?
He's a high school student.
Yeah. Sebastian may or may not mention this, but he's still a 16?
Yep.
16-year-old high school student. So his company is called Spinneret, and I will let you guys listen to his presentation. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Bomi, and I'm here to present my company, Spinneret. So, our problem that we're trying to fix is that the United States is failing in STEM education. We are currently rated 22nd in the world with some standardized tests that have been done recently. And our rate of change is slower than other countries. We're falling behind, and we have been for a while, and we will continue to if things don't change. So, sorry. What I want to do is I want to help STEM teachers be able to do their job better by providing them with better classroom models that I want to make with 3D printing. So there are 76 high school districts in California. They are my primary target market. So in terms of competitive advantages, first one is my expertise. I am the best person in 3D printing that I know. And well, there aren't many printer people out there yet. So I know more about 3D printing than many other people. I'm still a student as well, so I have a better connection with teachers. Both of my parents are also teachers. I know a lot about this space, and I'm in it all the time. And as far as I can tell, I'm also pretty early, so that would mean that I could get some really nice first choice contracts with a lot of school districts. That's ultimately my goal, actually, is to get these first choice contracts before anyone else and provide them with their 3D printed models. Okay, so why do this? Well, STEM education is pretty hard. Like, it's not an easy field, and the classes aren't getting easier. And I've currently got some really great teachers, but I've had bad ones in the past, and they're bad teachers. You can't learn much. And a hands-on model will really help a teacher get the information through that they need to get through. That's one of the greatest dividing features between bad and good teachers that I've had, is that the good teachers always have a very good hands-on model and a good explanation with it. So specifically now, there's 1.1 million new STEM jobs that are expected to be needed in the United States. And we don't have enough students in STEM going into that right now. And the 3D printing market is expected to grow 4 times in the next 8 years. So just as a technology, it's developing, and plenty of new opportunities are coming into fruition from this technology. I want to develop one of these opportunities by making 3D printed models for students and teachers. And US is still falling in education. This is something that needs to be addressed, and might as well do it now. Skip the slide. So in terms of the market size, there are currently 1.2 million STEM teachers in the United States, and about 89,000 in California. I would not be selling to these teachers directly. I would be selling to the schools and the school districts. However, these are the teachers that will ultimately be using my models. In terms of the schools themselves, there's about 1,300 in California, and 23,500 in the United States. Eventually, I would also like to sell to universities and post-secondary schools, of which there's about 400 in California and about 6,000 in the US. So in terms of finances, my expected monthly costs are about $26,000 or so. Most of that going into a lease for a building and cost of labor. The initial startup costs are expected to be about $82,000 expected. And my main advantage of and why I want to use 3D printing is because producing an item, just the raw materials, are really cheap. It's only about $8 per item, and it's produced by the machine automatically. It doesn't take much labor to do so. Most of the labor comes in taking the material off the printer and post-processing and getting it to its location. For this reason, I can expect a gross profit per item that's pretty high. I'd expect to be selling my models at about $85 each to school districts. So gross profit per item, about $75. I expect that I can sell at least 25 models to each school, assuming, say 3 STEM classes at least. There's usually more, but 3 is a good minimum. Each class needs multiple models. So I'm expecting 25 models per class or per school, and then an average of 8 schools per district. So I'd be able to make about 15,000 per school in just selling models. And my cost per customer is about $5,500. And that's mostly in hiring a salesman to do it. So in terms of advertising and actually selling to the school districts, I'm a student. I'm not terribly good with selling things to school districts. So part of my ask is that I'm going to be asking for a salesman who knows how to deal with school districts and who can do that for me. I'm expecting 10% closure at not 20,000 each, about 15,000 each. I'd also like to interact with influencers. There are quite a few people who make educational content online, and I'd like to be able to provide them with models, because not only are some of them going to become teachers, a lot of, especially the better teachers, pay attention to these sorts of things and will be paying attention to them in the future. And it's also at least a decent way of saying, hey, a lot of people know about this. This is a model that has been used before and that people have been using for education. Is people using them for education online, but still. And another thing that I've considered is selling to companies that will then sell to schools. This is an alternative to having a salesman that I've considered. Okay. So in terms of competitors, I have some representative competitors here listed, although there are plenty more that exist. These are sort of archetypes that I've noticed. So GT Simulators is a company that I found selling online. They make generalized models. So the kind of your textbook photo models, except in 3D. And they're all right models. They're just the textbook model. They're idealized. They give an all right idea of what's there, but they're not perfect. They've certainly got issues. And especially if you're like an anatomy class and you're teaching biology students, that's not what's in a person. That's a representation of what's in a person, but a 3D printed model can be much more accurate for showing what an actual heart is shaped like. And bone clones is another one that I found. They are very specialized. They It's a company that specializes in resin casting bones. There's a lot of these other specialized companies that exist, but well, their problem is that they're specialized. They are very expensive and they don't spread out. They're selling exclusively bones. In terms of virtual models, I found a company called Bio Interactive. I've actually used their lessons. And these lessons are perfectly good, but I don't consider them true competitors because they don't make models. They're usually teaching about systems, which is something very important in biology. So much of my classes have been about learning how systems work. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell models of the things that are in other living things, or the things that are in the universe. And instead of, I can't really make a model demonstrating how an ecology works, but I can make a model showing one aspect of that, of you know, how that animal works. You know, like I can't do maybe how the circulatory system interacts with the endocrine system, but I can do a part of the circulatory system. And Visible Biology is another competitor. They're much closer to actually being a competitor. They make, you know, the 3D models that you can zoom around in space, and you know, you can zoom in, pinch, look at them and all that. And they're very highly detailed models. They're very good, but they are inherently flawed in that they are all online. Well, if you want to be able to see it well, you need a good screen, good computer, which, well, we have Chromebooks at school. They have 720p monitors. You aren't going to be seeing, you know, the highest resolution with that. So, and of course, they're digital. You can't manipulate them. So my team, currently it's just me. I work with 3D printers. Eventually, though, as part of my ask, I'm asking for a businessman who can devote a lot more time to running the business than I can. Still a student, still have to spend time at school, do homework and all that. A CEO who can run a business will certainly help me with that. And I'd also ask for a salesman who can sell things to schools. Thought I removed the. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so my big ask is, in exchange for 15% equity, I am asking for a businessman who can run a business, $80,000 to $100,000 in startup capital, so I can get going, and a salesman who can run my business. Questions?